Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. What happened to and justice for all? That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. Recently, 2 Americans wound up dead after traffic stops. In Texas, 28-year-old Sandra Bland was stopped when she failed to signal while changing lanes. She was taken into custody, where she allegedly committed suicide in her jail cell. In Ohio, 43-year-old Samuel Dubose was shot dead by a police officer after being stopped for not having a license plate on the front end of his car. The Ohio cop has been charged with murder, the Texas woman's case being investigated by state authorities. Talking Points does not know precisely what happened, so further comment will wait until the hard evidence is presented. But the point is that laws, no matter how trivial, matter. And we, the people, including law enforcement, are expected to obey the law, all of the law. Enter Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi, who took an oath to uphold the Constitution, which includes respecting the laws her own House has passed. But Mrs. Pelosi openly defies federal immigration laws. She supports the anarchy of the sanctuary cities and rejects the proposed Cates Law.
Mandatory minimum sentences have not been something I have supported. I support the sanctuary.
Now, think about that. Think about it. If we disobey the law, we're punished. But Nancy Pelosi doesn't have to obey federal immigration law, and she's a member of Congress? Does that sound like justice to you? And what about Planned Parenthood? They receive $500 million every year from the taxpayer, and now we know some of their operations are selling the body parts of aborted babies. There are laws against that. Federal laws. Is the FBI investigating Planned Parenthood? Has President Obama and Attorney General Lynch ordered such an investigation? Not that we know of. Today, yet another undercover video was released. This one showing Planned Parenthood doctor Savita Gindhi describing the harvesting of body parts taken from babies, sometimes more than halfway through their pregnancies.
I don't know if I've ever seen a thymus, but maybe I haven't. I don't know. I know I've seen livers, I've seen stomachs, I've seen plenty of neural tissue. We usually, you can see the whole brain usually come out. You know, when you get to 17, 18 weeks, because we do some of those, and that's when you're doing a lot more of the DNA, and you might get larger. Well,
Tissue, so there's no study.
Putting it under the research gives us a little bit of a little overhang sort of over the whole thing.
It makes it look better.
Yeah. I mean, publicly, I think it makes a lot more sense for it to be in the research vein than as a...
Right, it's how we talk about it. Yeah, it's how we talk about it.
You don't want to get called on, you know, selling beetle parts across.
Neither do we.
Now, if that is not enough to make the Justice Department move and Congress to immediately suspend payments to Planned Parenthood, if that's not enough, then we don't have a justice system in this country any longer. The silence from the President and Attorney General is insulting and dangerous. Are you people in Washington going to respect the law or not? Sanctuary cities, are you serious? They arrogantly disobey the law and get away with it. Trafficking in baby body parts on the taxpayer dime? What kind of country is this? As I said earlier this week, there comes a point when Americans have to decide how much corruption they can tolerate. All of us have to signal while changing lanes. Meantime, some politicians only uphold the laws they like. Disgraceful. And that's a memo. Now for the top story tonight, with us, the governor of New Jersey and presidential contender Chris Christie. Let's take Planned Parenthood first. You are a former federal prosecutor.
Yes, sir.
Okay? U.S. attorney. Can you believe there is no investigation into the Planned Parenthood at this point?
No, I can't. Given what we've seen on these videos and the history, there absolutely should be. There's enough here to investigate. Let's get the facts, as you said in your opening. Let's get the facts. Let's see where they lead. And let's move on this, because we're talking about some things that are highly offensive to most of the people in America. And if, as alleged on the video, they're against the law.
Now, there obviously is a political component here, because the President of the United States is a big Planned Parenthood supporter, right?
Yes, sir.
Everybody knows that.
He's made it clear.
Isn't the President, though, constitutionally bound to enforce the law? And so is Nancy Pelosi.
Well, he took an oath, as you said, and I took the same kind of oath. You say, I swear to enforce the laws, not the laws I like or the laws I agree with, but the laws. And this president has not done that. And this attorney general, in her first real challenge, has to show everybody, is she going to be the chief federal law enforcement officer of this country, or is she going to play politics?
But can she go against her boss, the president of the United States?
I absolutely think she can. And as attorney general, we've seen that happen in the past. We've seen attorney generals resign when they disagree
Well, they
with the
did in the
president.
Nixon era.
That's right.
I mean,
and so why shouldn't we expect the same type of ethical conduct and righteousness from the current attorney general?
Now, we're not convicting Planned Parenthood here. We're just saying we need to know the facts because the taxpayers are funding. Do you believe the taxpayers should spend money on Planned Parenthood?
No, I don't. Let me tell you, Bill. We in New Jersey, I absolutely vetoed Planned Parenthood funding 6 years ago. And I vetoed Planned Parenthood funding another 7 times since then.
So they don't get any state money from the state of New Jersey?
0 since I've been governor.
They get federal money. Now, you used to be pro-choice.
Back when I was a very young man, before we had our second child.
And when I researched you, you said you changed when you heard the heartbeat of your daughter. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. My daughter was 13 weeks gestation. My wife and I went for a doctor's appointment, and they put the Doppler on my wife's abdomen. She was not showing at all at that point, and I heard that heartbeat really strong. This is 1995. And that's it. It turned it for me. On that ride home, I said, my position just is not justifiable. That's a life, and I cannot countenance the taking of that life.
The body parts that we were talking about in the video we showed, 18 weeks, okay? And that's what they're harvesting. These babies are, or fetuses, depending on your belief system, are developed to the point where you can get these body parts, but of course you have to kill the baby in a way, and this is what we've heard as well, that it's an industry. It's like, okay, here's how we're going to kill it so we can harvest it. Now, many people feel this is Nazi stuff. This is what they did in the Third Reich with these experiments. Would you go that far?
No, listen, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's unacceptable. And I think to most common sense Americans in this country, no matter where you are, by the way, on the choice issue, I'm pro-life, but no matter where you are, I think you look at something like this and say, this is not the kind of thing we want happening in our country.
All right. And the excuse, of course, is, to be fair, Planned Parenthood said we're selling them to research and all of this so that diseases can be combated. Are there any sanctuary cities in New Jersey?
There are. And you know, this is a failure of the federal government.
But why didn't you take action against
You
them?
can't, Bill, because these are federal immigration laws. I can't, as governor, order someone to enforce a federal immigration law. Only the Attorney General of the United States and the President of the United States can do that, and they're not doing it. And this is typical of this administration, Bill. They just enforce the laws they want to.
That's right.
You want to
There's
have
no doubt.
you want to have recreational marijuana in Colorado or Washington? Go ahead and have it, even though it's against federal law. You don't like the immigration laws? Don't enforce that. There is a sense of lawlessness about this administration based upon their own personal preferences. I just tell you this: I'm president of the United States. All the federal laws that are on the books are going to be enforced. You don't like a law? You want to change it? Get Congress to change it. But do not disregard the law.
Would you pull money from sanctuary cities, federal money? If
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. All right. Now, big Fox debate coming up a week from tonight. You don't know yet if you're going to be at night or in the afternoon. So they're dividing, and the candidates who have the highest poll numbers get the night, and the other candidates are in the afternoon. When are you going to know?
I think they tell us officially next Tuesday, but looking at the numbers, we're very confident we'll be at the 9 o'clock debate.
Okay. Now, you're going to have to make an impression because of your poll number status.
I usually don't have a problem with that, Bill.
Okay, but you're up against a guy who's even more flamboyant than you.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll do fine.
You know him?
We've been friends for 13 years. I know him well.
Okay, so you know Donald Trump well.
Yes, sir.
However, he is doing almost what you do, appealing to the populist vote of the party. He's doing what you do. You're both flamboyant. You're both straight talkers. How are you going to overcome him?
I'm not going to worry about overcoming him, Bill.
Are you going to go after him if he says something dopey?
Listen, I'm going to be myself. And I go
but
there
yourself is you go after people.
Well, that's right. So
Right.
It depends. It depends on what anybody says on that stage that night as to how I'm going to react and what I'm going to do. But in the end, what I'm going to talk about is what my vision for the future of America is and what I'll do as president of the United States. And here's the thing that people know about me that they don't know about Donald or about anybody else. When I say I'm going to do something, I do it. And when I say I won't, I won't. And they've seen that in New Jersey for 6 years, in one of the bluest states, if not the bluest state in America, as a conservative Republican. So people know that about me. They've got a track record that they can test.
All right.
And so that's what we'll do on Thursday night.
After the debate, I hope you'll come back.
I will.
We'll kick it around, and it's nice to see you here, Governor.
Good to see you.
All right.
Thank you very much, Bill.